What is going on, everybody? Sean Daniel here, courtesy of Guitar Control, and this is going to be an excellent course if you're looking to get into just playing a bunch of popular songs that you know, learning how chords work, and doing them in a very easy way to kind of get you up and running as soon as possible. So, it might seem like a very bold claim to be able to play pretty much every song that you know using only 10 chords, but it's true. To the extent of my knowledge, it is 100% true. So really, buckle up. It's going to be an exciting ride, and we're only going to learn a few chords. By the end of this course, you're going to have a working understanding of not only how to play the songs that we're showcasing here, but also how to apply everything you learn into your own creativity and to kind of join them with maybe other songs so you can really learn how to play songs quickly. Because I think the best way to learn, the best way to teach is to have kind of a combination of popular songs that you already know kind of what they sound like and knowing the theory and the music of what is behind them. So we're going to be combining both of these throughout the course. We're going to start off with a Lynyrd Skynyrd song called Simple Man. Seems like a simple place to start. Really great song and a perfect example of kind of what I'm talking about, where you don't need to know a lot of chords to be able to play a bunch of different songs, right? All you need to know are 3 chords, okay? C major, G major, and A minor, and one nasty riff. How easy is that, right? Just a couple different notes. And there's gonna be a couple different ways to play it because, again, pretty much every song that you've heard of can be broken down into chords. Now, it might not be immediately understandable to be like, okay, how is this song just these 3 chords? Because when you listen to the song, it sounds something like this. Okay, so that might have sounded complicated, but really once you understand the chords behind all this stuff, it really makes it a lot easier, because if you just look at a tab and just see all of the single notes and try to follow along, it can be very daunting when you're first starting out. So trust me, stick with it, all is going to make sense. Got you covered, alright? So, this is in the key of C. Now we want to talk about what a key is and where these chords come from, what chords are in general, right? A key is as simple as notes that sound good together, okay? So when we say it's in the key of C, that means it's in the key of C major. That means we use notes of C major, okay? So a key, especially when we're talking about Western music, popular music, is only 7 different notes, all right? Now, that's where the major scale comes in. I'm not going to spend too much time. We're going to be coming back to this the entire course, but the C major scale is only 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the 8th one is the first one again, all right? All the chords that we're going to learn are going to come from these notes and be populated with different amounts of these notes in different patterns, okay? So when I say the first chord in this song is the C major, all that means is the first note in the key of C is going to be the root note that this comes from, right? So the 3rd fret on the A string is that first root note that we're going to use. So the chord C major starts off with that right here. So let's learn how to play a C major chord real quick, all right? I'm going to put a diagram up on the screen. This is also going to be available in the supplemental materials that you can use. But basically, we've got the 3rd fret of the A string with your ring finger, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. The G string is supposed to be open, and your pointer finger is going to grab the 1st fret on the B string. We're going to strum the bottom 5 strings. We're going to try to leave that low E string out, okay? So we're kind of selectively strumming the bottom 5, the highest 5 strings, okay? Now, this is just one of many C majors. Again, this is just a note that comes from combining a couple of these notes in that scale. We're going to talk more about that later again. But I want to try to get this chord down. Now, easier said than done, right? Kind of, jamming your hand into these shapes can be kind of tough at first, but trust me, everybody struggles at first. You're going to get them if you're having problems with it. Stick with it, all right? We're also going to go over alternate ways you can play this, all right? Like I said, this is just one way to play a C major. Any way that you can combine these notes, whatever hand position is easiest for you, there's a couple different ways that we're going to talk about, but this is going to be the most traditional way to play a C major chord, all right? So now, when you hear the song, Simple Man, you hear that. Instead of hunting around and pecking for those notes like open, 2, 3, G, D, you know, it can be really confusing. But if you just get in this chord shape, then you can just pick through the chord. Again, it's optional to even play it the way, you know, that it was intended to be played. I'm a big fan of just kind of playing something and then putting your own creative spin on it. If you just want to play, instead of getting it sound like this, and just playing a C chord, and a G chord, and an A minor chord, to be able to sing around like a campfire, be able to play with other musicians, that's totally fine. But all those single notes come from this one chord, all right? If you wanted to pick it out, it would be open, 2, 3 to get you into that C major shape. A, G, D, A, B, G. I just called out the name of the string that I was picking, right? You can play it finger style. I'll probably be using a pick for most of this course, but that's kind of what we have going on for the first bar, the first amount of time in that song. It's just a C chord right here. Now the next chord we're going to play is a G chord. Maybe you've already even played this chord, maybe you've already learned this chord, but it's one of the easier ones that you can do. So this is going to be the second chord that we're going to learn of the only 10 that you need. Again, I'm going to keep harping on that. Only 10 chords you need. Again, you can learn more to be a true boss, but we're going to get you going with these first 10, all right? Now for this G major chord, I'll get my middle finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, my pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and my ring finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And then I'm going to hit the open D, G, and B strings. Remember, just because you're not fretting a note, holding it down with your finger, doesn't mean you're not playing a note, because those open strings are really responsible for a lot of the sound of this chord, right? That's why we can't just move this shape and have it sound good. It has to be right here, all right? Now, one of the kind of confusing things that I remember being totally perplexed about when I was first trying to teach myself how to play was which G chord somebody wanted me to play, because when you look up on the internet, sometimes you see this G chord with your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. Sometimes it wouldn't even have the E string. Sometimes it would look like this. Sometimes it would look like this. Sometimes it would look like this. The thing to remember is there's a bunch of different types of G chords. This is just one voicing. A voicing is a particular type of chord, right? That's one voicing of a G major chord, all right? Now we can take this voicing and pick through it just like the other one. Just like we did with that C chord at first. Now I'm hitting A, D, or E, D, A, E, B, G. Or you can just strum it. And again, the simple way to strum it is just 4 downstrokes. So we can start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, another note on the fingers used to fret this G chord. It does not matter. Again, another thing I remember when I was first starting out, I'd look at maybe like a book with a chord chart in it, and it'd be like, okay, my middle finger has to be here on the root note, 3rd fret of the E string. My pointer finger has to be here. That's actually not the case. That might be the most traditional way to play a G chord, but context matters a lot when you're switching between chords. Maybe you've already actually played a couple chords before, and like you've got the chord, like you could be like, all right, boom, G major, down. But then when you try to switch to another chord, the transition between chords, in my experience, was the hardest, most frustrating part, right? So if we're going from a C major chord to a G major chord, if you look at my hand, some of you will be like, well, that's easier said than done, like that. I think there's a more efficient way to do this. From a C to a G, a lot of times when I'll play this transition, I'll just move this C major chord up, like that, take my pointer finger off, and have my pinky hit the 3rd fret of the high E string. So this is the exact same notes as this, okay? As far as the sound of what I'm hearing, it does not matter which fingers I use to fret these chords. It's all about context. So for me, it was always easier to have a C chord and then play here, like this. Which, again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Everybody's hands are different. Everybody kind of, learns at a different pace. So don't get frustrated. However, you can get that transition to sound clean. That's the voicing that you're going to use, okay? Don't rely on whatever you see on the sheet to tell you where you have to put your hands. Do your thing. You do you. That's what's going on, all right? Now, the only other chord you need to play this entire song is A minor. All right? So the way this is going to be played, open A string, our root note. Again, the chord gets its name from its root note. So open A is an A. Middle finger 2 on the D string. ring finger 2 on the G string, pointer finger 1 on the B string. And let's hit that open E if we can get it too. Alright, so 3 of the first chords really anybody uses. C major, G major, A minor. And then that really important riff part. Like if you just play C, G, and A, no one's gonna know it's Simple Man, but if you do that part, people are like, got you, Skynyrd, I'm on it, I see what's happening. So just to do that, it's open 3, open 5 on the low E string. If you want to get crazy with it, open 3, open 3 to 5, just like that, alright? So all together we can combine them if we just play 4 downstrokes from each one. A very simple way to play Simple Man would be 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, and then the riff. Okay? Or if you don't want to do the riff, just play A minor, 2 bars, 3, 4, and again 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, and again 2, 3, 4. Back to the beginning. So we have 4 spots, 4 bars for chords. The first bar is C major, the second bar is G, the third and the fourth bars are A minor. Again, a bar of music for most of what we're talking about is going to be 4 counts. 1, 2,